Comrades, we having a good time tonight. The meeting's sweet. Labor good. Labor good. Labor good all the time. Comrades, on Tuesday in Parliament, we had a nice time. They had people who spoke about all kind of things. Some talk about the ministry. Some talk about agriculture and rearing animals. Some rear pigs. Some look after sheep. She says she rearing a special type of animal over there. What that their name? What that their name? What the animal their name?
Them they have them they have.
Comrades of Labour, comrades of Labour, I want you.
Them they have.
Comrades, as I was saying, we had a good time in Parliament on Tuesday. We had one speaker who spoke about all kind of things. He spoke about the fish coming from the fisheries. How much fish went from the fisheries left, right, and center? I don't know about that, please. I don't know about that. I want you to welcome to the microphone that speaker for us tonight. He has a lot of things to talk about tonight. I want you to welcome to the microphone the Honorable Nigel Carty, the Minister of Education. Welcome to the microphone, Minister Carty.
Oh, let the power fall on high, for right. Let the power fall on high. Oh, let the power from Zion fall on high. Let the power fall on high. Oh, give I justice, peace and love, for right. Give I justice, peace and love. Tell I how long will the wicked reign for right? Give I justice, peace and love.
Labor is good, and all the time. Labor is good, and all the time. If you're from Mansions, the labor is good. If you're from Tabernacles, the labor is good. If you're from Bellevue, the labor is good. If you're from Christchurch, the labor is good. Molyneux, the labor is good. Lodge, the labor is good. Utlers, labor is good. If you're from constituency number 7, say, labor is good all the time.
Labor person, are you ready? Labor person, are you ready?
You see, there are some people who believe that they're more than labor. That when they leave, labor dead. But labor people have shown them that when they are labor, and they will never change. Labor people never change. So those who have changed have never been labor. Those who have changed have never been labor. They have used our organization. They have used you, our young people, our old people, to get themselves into political office. And when they think they're on their feet, strong, and believe that they got support, they kick you in your backside and tell you it's time for them to take leadership and political power for themselves. But labor people are here tonight to say to you that you will lose. You cannot win in number 7 because number 7 is for labor and labor is for number 7. Labor is for number 7 and number 7 is for labor. Comrades, I want to say to you that God is good to us. God is good. God is good. To God be the glory. Great things he has done. Because, you know, colleagues, according to the plan that they had hatched, Labour should have been in opposition already. Labour should have been in opposition since the dawn of the new year. Because they hatched a plan. The plan was to ensure that the Labour government would fall. They came into cabinet every single Monday, sat down, pretended that they were on board. And every time they're on their BB sending out texts to patches on the radio, taking out cabinet papers, taking them to Dwyer Stefan, taking them to Michael Morton and all them people. And so before Labour people could know anything, before the people of the country could know everything, Michael Morton, Patches, and all them knew what was happening in the government. These are wicked people. Wicked people.
No good for nothing, bastard.
I never knew that people could be so wicked for real. I know people wicked, but I did not know that people could be so wicked.
Wicked, I can't get me down. No, no, no.
Let me tell you the plan that was hatched to get Labour out of office. And I want to say to you that this has nothing to do with Denzel Douglas. That is the political psychology that they're working on people. To tell people it's Douglas. It's not Douglas. It is Labour. And it's in their search for political power why they have done what they have done to Labour and to Labour's people. The plan was to ensure that the budget that was scheduled for December 11th would not pass. I want to tell you all something, you know, because the budget is important. It is one of the most important pieces of legislation for the upkeep of the country, for the support of the people, to prevent crisis in the country. And they came into cabinet every single Monday, keep their mouth shut, take their notes, record things, put things on paper. And every Tuesday night they would go to a meeting by the rescue chief. And they would say who will use what information and who wouldn't use what information. So for example, when the Marriott wrote to Sam Conda to say that they were going to lay off 68 people because times were difficult and they were considering what they would do. And they wrote on paper saying, if government could help, we would keep them on. But if government can't help, we're going to have to let them off. Sam Conda kept that letter, didn't share it with the Prime Minister, never shared it with the members of the cabinet. He shared it with Patches on the radio. So when I get out of cabinet and turn on my radio in my vehicle, going to have lunch, I hear in for the first time as a member of the cabinet that Patches was saying that 68 people were going to be laid off from Marriott. These are the people who have been fooling people saying that they care about poor people. Sam Conda and Timothy Harris care about poor people only insofar as to get their vote, to get political office. And that's the end of it. You better understand, you know, Sam Conda and Timothy Harris have used poor people's vote over the last 23 years to get into political office. And then they say that Labour people are not going to recognize that they're not Labour anymore because they're going to try to walk like Labour and talk like Labour. But Labour people are wise. Labour people know their own. Labour people know their own. And so we understand that we are on the right track here. We couldn't have kept them around any longer. And I want those of you who have been critical of the decisions which this government has taken to kick the man tail out of office. We can only take so much for so long. So much for so long. Do not be judgmental. Do not be judgmental. Put yourself in Douglas's shoes. Douglas is human being. Douglas is human being.
Some will hate you, pretend they love you now. Then behind they try to eliminate you.
So colleagues, to clinch the point on the budget. To clinch the point on the budget. They came into the cabinet every Monday, said nothing. But 2 weeks before the budget was to be debated in the House of Assembly, they start missing the cabinet. They came in, they took up their papers and they left. And so somebody said, boy, this funny. I think it was Ricky. Ricky said, boy, this look funny. This look funny. But we're going to watch them next week. The following week, the same thing. They missed the cabinet meeting. For 4 months, they hadn't missed one cabinet meeting. Not one. Because their mandate, their plan was to be there to take every bit of news outside of the cabinet. And all of a sudden, an important event like the budget is coming up. And they're missing the cabinet meeting. And so when we went into the parliament, December the 11th, Tuesday, and we see them turn up. Denzel Douglas said, well, fellas, Marcella, these people missed 2 meetings of the cabinet at which we were debating and discussing the budget before it comes to the House. And now come this Tuesday morning, they're here. They must be here for something bad. They're up to something. And so the wisdom of the Prime Minister said, let us pull it back because they're up to something. God moved in Denzel Douglas and said, let us pull it back. Let us pull it back. And we say, you know what? We're going to try them out. Make them show their hand. And so we put the Senator Increase of Numbers Bill in front. And we juke them out. We pull them out. They show their hand clearly. And so we knew exactly where they were. Had we brought the budget on December the 11th, they would have played nice. But when the vote was to come, they were going to vote against your budget. Vote against the people's budget. And create the crisis that they were talking about. I want you to recognize, comrades, that you have as your leader of this country a man who is guided by God. A man who, when God bless, no man can curse.
Who Jah bless, no one curse. Thank God.
And you know, the budget was a good thing. Because the budget taught us and showed us that the debt which had been so crippling on the country because of the world economic recession, the economists told us that we have been through the worst recession since 1929. 80-something years, the worst recession the world has seen over that period of time. But they don't matter. It doesn't matter to them. It doesn't matter to them because their agenda is to pull down the government to create a crisis. But Labour people understand that sometimes things are good and sometimes things are not so good. The Bible speaks of 7 years of plenty and 7 years of little. That is happening since biblical times and will always happen. And you must understand that you are not here to support Labour only when things are plentiful. But you are here to support an organization that will keep you on the right path of prosperity and progress. That is what we're here for. You know in your own homes that things are not always as it ought to be. So should your children disobey you and go astray? Should wife leave husband when things are scarce? That should never happen. We should stick together as a family and know that the road is tough and long. But if we walk together, if we tarry together, we are going to make it. And this country, say Kitts-Nevis, will reach where we want it to reach as a people. The budget told us that the debt has gone down and more money has been freed up to be spent on education, on school meals, on scholarships, on paving roads, of building houses. And so all of that lull that we had seen in the past with respect to home construction and roads going bad, that will come to an end very shortly because the money is there now. The money is there now. Things are on the up and up in this party and in this government. The budget told us that crime has come down. They were making a hue and cry. Went all over the world campaigning against the government, your people's government, about crime in the country. And with the success we have had in reducing crime in recent times, you can't hear them out. You cannot hear their mouth. And you know, by that mark, they are a hypocritical set of people. When things bad, say bad. When it good, say good. I can't query or quarrel with people when they say that things are tough and crime is high, if it is really so. But when it has come down, we must talk the truth at all times. And Dr. Martin told you that as of immediately, almost immediately, your fuel charge will go down. For some of you, 60% of the people in the country, the fuel surcharge has gone completely. And for others of you, you will get rebates, discounts of 50% and 40% and 30% on your fuel surcharge according to how much electricity you burn. That can happen because the budget has been passed and because things are better now. And if you could have borne with us over the last 4 to 5 years, know that in the next 5 years ahead, things will be better. More progress will come in the country. I want to say to you that people deserve strong, stable, and united governments. We are real people. We deserve the best. And you should not let anybody parade any nonsense in front of you talking about a government of national unity. Nothing could be more disunited than what they're trying to do. Two people who said they were with Labour, two people from PAM, two people from CCM, different in philosophy. I want to tell you that they're going to have a united government. One man in the crew said, we can operate it like some people around the world operate it. A man from PAM can have it for 6 months, prime ministership. Another one can have it for 6 months. And another one can have it for another 6 months. And you do a round robin. 6 months for you, 6 months for you, round and round until everybody get about 3 turns. That is a recipe for disaster and confusion. Every 6 months your country changing course. That can't be good. Every 6 months your country changing course. That can't be good. Let people know that you are an educated people. You know what you're talking about. You know what stability is. You know that in any stable government, there'll be ups and downs, but you want a sure and stable and united government. God has answered our prayers. God has answered our prayers. Because I did not know how we in the Labour Party would face you, the people of the country, going into an election with Sam Conda and Tim Harris. I didn't know how that was going to happen. But God worked it out. They tried something on us, but God turned it around. I want to say something to you before we move on. And that is to say to you, don't be fooled by this talk of unity. Unity is a nice word. A nice word. And if anybody put unity in front of a word for you, you think the whole concept is good. You must know better. You must know different. And I want to tell you now that 5 years ago, when Keith Mitchell lost the government in Grenada, got a sound defeat from the NDC, the PAM Democrat wrote up a nice story about the NDC, trouncing Keith Mitchell's party. They have it right here. 2008. I'm not going to read it because of time. But essentially, that party, when it won in 2008, was a party of many factions coming together. They went into office, and from day one, they never settled down. People out of the cabinet, people in the cabinet. The government never settled down. And you know what the people paid them for that? The people gave them their due recompense. They lost every single seat, 15-0 they got from the government that had lost in 2008. You see, the people of Grenada not only lost out from not having a stable government, but all of the progress which should have happened over those 5 years did not happen. They were set back 5, 10, 15 years. The country was set back big time. Unemployment in that country rose to 45%. If you saw 5 people on a bus going to work, 4 people were sitting down doing nothing. That's what it means. You saw 10 people going on a bus to work. 8 people sitting down underneath the tree, not working. That's what 45% unemployment means. And so, comrades and colleagues, we must understand that this is serious business. Politics and government are not a game for people to play you. It's about your future, your children's future. It's serious business. But these gentlemen have left us for a long time. They left us a long time ago. Those of you who are following the campaign in 2010, you know we had difficulty getting them on the platform to speak for Labour. You know that. They undermined Marcella in Central Bastille. But Marcella gave them a licking in Central Bastille. The kind of support Marcella got in Central Bastille, Dwyer never dreamt of it. They tried to undermine Ghost in number 4. But Ghost came through because the man's strong. The man big. They tried to undermine Assem in number 1. But they failed because Dr. Martin, our Deputy Prime Minister, is number 1 in number 1. And successfully, they undermined Nugent. Successfully, they undermined Cedric. Labour should have won all 8. But they were always looking for Labour to be weak so that they could have an excuse to pop over and say, well, Labour weak, so I go on with Pam. That was their trick. Comrades, I want to say to you that I have some important details to share with you because people must understand who are the people coming before them as wolf in sheep's clothing. You must know who coming before you. And the people of Mansion, the people of Tabernacle, Bellevue, Molyneux, Utlays and Lodge should know that you not got nobody on the other side who wants to represent you. They are nobodies. Their reputation speaks for itself. And the first point I want to make is that if Timothy Harris ever believed that he could have won the support of the people of the party to be leader of this organization and the government, he would have gone to conference and said to the people, elect me to be the leader of this organization. But he know he can't win. I admire people who challenge people. If you challenge the Prime Minister, no love lost. No love lost. Denzel Douglas wasn't born with the leadership of the Labour Party in his will. Wasn't. This institution of which we are members and supporters is a democratic institution. And Denzel Douglas has never been afraid of that challenge. But you have people who are afraid to challenge. They are afraid to challenge. I admire the young man from Antigua, Gaston Brown, who challenged their Prime Minister and leader of their party. Challenged the leader of the Antigua Labour Party, Via Bird, Lester Bird, and won the leadership of that party. Well, that must be admired because that's a democratic process. Comrades, I want to say to you that Timothy Harris is parading in jacket and tie and glasses. But he's a crook. He's a man of no scruples whatsoever. The man has no scruples. When I got into the cabinet and recognized who this man was, I ever wondered why he was there. I wondered why he was there. Because at every turn, he tried to undermine the Prime Minister and the Labour Party. Harris has said to me personally, he said, Carty, you are a young man. I in this thing before you. Politics about you and your family and your family and family. And everybody else come after. That's what he said to me. Politics is about setting up your brother and your sister, and when they're all done, you could look after other people. That's what he said to me. And so, Timothy Harris set out to ensure that every member of his family, qualified or not, would be positioned in key positions in government and other places. He said he wanted his brother to be the manager of the development bank, and Douglas can't refuse it. That's what he said. That's my brother. He said, my sister has to be the registrar in the High Court and nobody can stop it. He said, my other sister will be the general manager of the legal aid clinic in Bastille and nobody can stop it. And my brother who drives the big truck, he gonna have a lot of contract with solid waste for thousands of dollars every single month. I don't begrudge them, but other people must get. Other people must get. And his young niece, who never worked yet, and got a whole house, 18 years old. And people in the constituency bawling, Harris, I want a house. I want a house. Harris decide it's he and his family first. He and his family second. He and his family third. And the next down the line is you. And you picking them.
Hypocrites and parasites.
And the biggest joke about all of this, you know. The biggest joke about all of this. He said when he become prime minister, his brother who works in the prison will become the general manager of SCASPA. The general manager of SCASPA. You imagine that? His brother who works in the prison, Bull. When he becomes prime minister, Bull will be the manager of SCASPA, the ANC Ports Authority. Well, what do we do with all those people who have been to university to get their degree in accounting and management? What do we do with them? That's the point I'm trying to bring to you. The other point I want to make, there's a gentleman, a contractor, a former supporter of Timothy Harris, who was supposed to win the contract to build the police station. And all of a sudden, Double Davis ain't win the contract again. Two fellas win the contract. And guess who the two fellas be? The two fellas who build land house up above you. Some connection there. Some connection there. Nobody's going to tell me that some kickback, no, in that. Some kind of kickback in that. And Douglas and the members of the cabinet say, Harris, this is not right. The man is a labor man. The man is a labor man. He win the contract fair and square. That's what they say. He say, my role. Family first, family second, family third, and everybody else after. I want you to recognize that the man is nobody. The man is nobody. Parading in jacket and tie and glasses and hard shoes. But the man is nobody. The man is in this thing for himself and his family. I want you to understand that. Tim Harris is a tyrant and an abuser of people. Take it from me. A tyrant and an abuser of small people. When I got to the Ministry of Agriculture, a small farmer said to me, I hope you ain't gonna come around to ask for yam and potato and banana every week, Because sometimes all I have is the Hannah fig and the man asks for it. Too little potato. Weather dry. Potato not grow. But you get a half bag of potato and the man wants some out of that. Greedy. Dwyer said that to me, Dwyer Astefan told me that in cabinet in 2004, 2005. He said, Tim is the greediest man he ever see. And not only, a foreign diplomat said to me, Minister Carty, I have never seen a man as greedy as this man. Everything he wants. Everything he wants. The man ain't supposed to be so fat. If you put 10 bread on the table, he want to eat 10 bread. This ain't no joke, because this is about the character of people who are coming before you, asking for your vote under the guise of being labor and under the guise of being decent. Indecent, and I'm going to get further for you. It was Timothy Harris when he was made Minister of Finance in 2008. 18 months he was Minister of Finance. And before the ending of the 6 months, Timothy Harris negotiated with a big businessman in town. The government gave the man a tax bill of $50 million. The man was supposed to pay $50 million. Timothy Harris negotiated with the man and brought his tax bill down to 6, not 60, $6 million. $44 million gone. And for every $1 million, that goes a begging, people have to pay more tax to make up the gap. People have to pay more tax to make up the gap. The analysts from CARICOM and from our own Ministry of Finance said, if you had had that $44 million, the VAT could have been 12 or 13%. But you are paying through your nose because Tim Harris did bad negotiation. And nobody gonna tell me that no kickback in that. Nobody gonna tell me that no kickback in that. Nobody. Somebody said to me the other day that he said he got more than enough money to win the election and to live happily ever after if he lose. He said, if I lose, I got enough money to live happily ever after. He said, I will get my government pension, $7,000 put on that. And you know, the ministers in the government drive smallish vehicle. Somebody drive a Suzuki Swift. Marcella drive a Jeep Grand Cherokee. An old Jeep since she got since, what? About 8 years ago. Can't buy a new one yet. Eh? Timothy Harris driving a Prado. Driving a Prado. The only person who could drive a Prado is the Prime Minister because it's the government by that. He's the Prime Minister. All the others got to buy a little vehicle, but Timothy Harris got a Prado. He got a Prado. A Prado costs $280,000. Over $250,000. He one could drive that. Nobody else could drive that. And nobody gonna tell me that when you see a vehicle with 612, a 6 to the back and front, and 2 side and top and bottom, a vehicle marked 612, that a part of the kickback.
Man to man is so unjust. Children, you don't know who to trust.
So, when you see a vehicle marked 612, a 6 in front, a 6 behind, a 6 to the right side, a 6 to the left side, on top and bottom. When you see the vehicle, tell your friend, kick back gone. Kick back a pass. And I understand that for the election up and coming, a lot of milk, rice, sugar, and flour will be given out. I understand that for the election, a certain person will be giving out hampers of rice and sugar and flour. And they say, those are the same kind of supplies that are at the supply office. When you check the supply office, they sell some basic items up there. They sell rice. They sell flour. They sell sugar. And milk too. So it seems as though the hamper that you're going to get for the election going to get in milk too. And so I want you to recognize that you are talking about people who are wholly and completely indecent, dishonest. They are vagabonds and vipers and vampires. That's what they are. I will come now. And the point I want to make, is that Tim walking around looking palm votes now. Looking palm votes. This was the man who used to tell me and members of the cabinet he didn't even want to see them. I remember when I wanted to appoint a deputy principal of the Keon High School, I brought the name of a gentleman whom I know was Pam, but didn't matter to me because you have to give people a chance now and again. A young man who, when I was at school at Keon, was a young teacher. The man went to sixth form, went to university, came back years ago. And I said to my colleagues, I want to make John Samuel from Tabernacle the deputy principal of the Keon High School. Tim said, over my dead body, his mother and Samuel is a big bam, and nothing like that will happen. Nobody vote for you, Carty. You can't do that. And now Tim walking around looking pam votes. Tim gonna use you. Use you and abuse you. The last point I want to bring to your colleagues is one that is a very serious matter. Because the Labour Party is an inclusive party. We believe that people must be their true selves. And when people are coming, posing before you, wanting to be your representative and leaders in government, you must know exactly who they are. If they're a man, you must know. If they're a woman, you must know. I have no problem with people who want to have their own preferences. I got no problem with that. As a matter of fact, when Tim Harris was afraid to tell the colleagues in the cabinet that he wanted the government to change the buggery law, he came to me. He said, Carty, I want you to talk to the Prime Minister and the AG. We want to change the buggery law. I said to him, I ain't got no problem with what you want, but my voice in the cabinet small because nobody vote for me. And the government has always been inclined to doing what is right, because homosexuality, sexual preference is a human rights issue. That's what Obama said. Be what you want to be. Be what you want to be, but come out and say who you be.
Oxygen, oxygen, breathe for me.
And in my view, that's one of the issues surrounding the whole issue of integrity in public life. That's part of personal transparency, image transparency. So the fact that you have your own sexual preference is not a matter for the Labour Party. But you can't have man here and man there. Look, one partner. Do like me, one partner.
Oxygen, oxygen, breathe for me, yeah, breathe for me.
And if you can't have one partner like me, do like Asim, do one pass two. We have a lot of young people in the audience tonight. You will be the future leaders of the country. You are the future leaders of the country. You will be the leaders of the country. And if you are granted the opportunity by the people to be their leader, you must work with them honestly. If you are the Minister of Agriculture and a young man come and tell you he wants a job in agriculture up the abattoir, don't tell him he must come down by your house at 10 o'clock in the night and sit in your lap.
Oxygen, oxygen, breathe for me, yeah, breathe for me. Like,
don't tell the man that he must come down by your house 10 o'clock in the night to sit on your lap. Now, colleagues, this is not a joke. It is not a joke. Because even if the young man seems to be like that, in the same position that you are, the same sexual preference, you must always remember, when you are in a position of power and influence, that you could cause people to do things that they don't really want to do. But they feel that because you have jacket and tie and glasses, they can't say no. They can't say no. So you must be extraordinarily careful. Make sure that people really want what they say they want. Make sure of that. It's not about who you love. You must respect people. Respect people's wishes. Respect people's wishes. And so in closing, I want to say to you, comrades, colleagues, that this is an issue of personal integrity integrity in public life. And when you're a minister of agriculture and you travel, or any minister of government at all, you travel to England, you come in through Barbados. You travel to Grenada, you come in through Barbados. You go Helsinki, you come in through Barbados. You go England, you come in through Barbados. Because you got people in Barbados you want to see. Come on, man, do it at your own expense. Do it at your own expense. And so, comrades, I want to say to you that Tim Harris and Sam Conda are being used by Pam like a floor mat. They are being used by Pam because the owners of Pam got owners. The owners of Labour are you. The owners of Labour are you. The owners of Pam are 2 and 3 people in town. Al Powell and Michael Morton and a few other people. And they say, we're going to use them. We're going to abuse them. When we get on the feet, we're going to jam them. That's what they say. Tim Harris and Sam Conda are awaiting a rude awakening. Because when and if Pam ever get on their feet, trust me, they say when they're ready, they're going to jam them. God bless you.
Big news, last year so come on out, Congress lose. But wait, people jumping up like the wind woke up when they hear Congress and make a place. All on radio, hear the haters go, man they thought they had won the race. But Calypso night we jam them, so back to square one of their problem. That they cannot take the tiger's crown, despite the ill will to bring him down.
Comrades, the meeting sweet, meeting good. Nigel sweet tonight, we hot tonight. Well, I didn't plan to talk, but me not talk again. That too much for me. I didn't really plan to talk tonight, but after that speech tonight, I decided I ain't got to talk again. He did it for me.
Oh, what a night. What a night, what a night. Oh gosh, what a night. I feel good.
Come. Roddy, give them a little bit more.
Oh, what a night. What a night, what a night. Oh gosh, what a night. I feel good when you're wrapped up in my arms, dancing to a reggae song.